Let's talk about Christian Pulisic. Why has things not clicked entirely for him here at Chelsea?
Well, I'd probably say that the main thing was, obviously, initially he's moving from another country. He's coming over from Germany, having grown up in the States. Quite a lot of responsibility lays on his shoulders back home in the States, being the captain of his country. And then when he first came over, it was a new league. Tried to hit the ground running, maybe a little bit stop-start, niggling little injuries. I think the intensity that we was training at was a little bit difficult for him to adjust to at the beginning. And then when he did get in the team, I felt that he started performing well and then picked up an injury. And then it was COVID. So, I mean, I feel I've got a lot of time for Christian. I think he thinks about his game a lot. Maybe worries about it a little bit too much. But I do believe that he's had some really good spells here, and it just coincided sometimes with the fact that when he was probably going through his best spells and his most productive spells, he did pick up an injury and then was maybe left out. Or at a top club, which Martin will tell you, is sometimes you can be doing okay, but there's just people in your position that are actually doing a little bit better.
When you're talking about him maybe being overly critical of himself, Martin, from a management perspective, did you employ different techniques for different types of players? Was one of your strengths the ability to read a player? Say you're managing myself and Jody, and I react better to positive reinforcement, whereas maybe Jody, he doesn't.
Yeah, you definitely treat. One thing I learned relatively quickly in the game as a manager, you cannot treat everybody in the same fashion. You think you can. You like to give a team talk and say, well, you're all in the same boat, lads, but you're not really, And I have to say, I think that when I left Aston Villa, I think there was Curtis Davies apparently in one of those interviews, that Harry Redknapp does just outside, winding down the window and, listen to, and Curtis Davies said something about, the manager had his favourite players. Yeah, I did. They were usually my best players, So what I'm trying to say is that you do treat people differently in a manner. You have to, if you feel as if this particular player needs cajoling into it, you will do that. If you feel that this boy needs heaps of praise on him, absolutely. But eventually, the player will either come through or die a death anyway, So from that viewpoint, there's only so much that you can do with him. Then the player has to have something within himself to actually to take on what you're saying, if it is some sort of cajoling, or it's saying, listen, this manager really believes in me. And I think Jody, again, far more than me because of the Pulisic, I think there's definitely a player there. There's no question about it. He's got the ability, he can go past players. He had that, didn't he tear the hamstring, wasn't it, in the cup final or something like this here? And things like this here, Jody mentioned immediately when he missed the goal, he said he'll be thinking about that there now for the next 5 minutes. And I understand that. I times like that there myself, as a player, when I thought, oh gosh, I've just missed a really great chance. The next thing, and you are thinking about it for 3 or 4 minutes. Some players can with a little bit more experience, can erase that from their minds pretty quickly. But players are all different. There's no question about it. It's you eventually, as a manager, trying to get the very, very best out of those players.
How do we get the best out of you as a player? How did the late Brian Clough do?
Well, for me, I felt I could have done with a bit more praise. Seriously, I could have done. I used to find out that the manager would come in and actually. I give John Robertson. He used to say to John, "That's brilliant," and I didn't get too many of those. And I thought to myself, "Listen, I'm having a bit of a joke here with you, Adam, in the sense that but he did." And of course, Brian Clough will say exactly what I said about it when Curtis Davies mentioned. I like to praise the very, very best players, and John Robertson was a fantastic footballer, but not all. I didn't feel that the manager wouldn't. When he did praise you. When he did praise you, you felt 10 foot tall. There's no question about that there. So perhaps maybe waiting for that praise. And if it was coming more often than I deserved, and remember, you still have to deserve the praise. And perhaps there was a lot of occasions when I didn't deserve it.
Possibly.
Yeah. Well, actually, I know there were.
Okay.